Good day everyone. So now we will going to discuss the chapter 12, roles and competencies of school heads.
Intended learning outcomes. At the end of this chapter, you should be able to discuss the competencies expected of school heads as contained in Competency Framework for Philippines and for Southeast Asia. Before we proceed to our topic, let us first know what is school head. School heads are those persons who are responsible for the work happening in a school. So he or she is a mentor who supports staff's professional development and helps them cultivate the most appropriate behaviors and teaching practices. So must be an instructional leader and also an administrative leader. It is written in Chapter 1, Section 5E of RA 9155. Pursuant to Republic Act number 9155 or RA 9155, otherwise known as Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001, and its implementing rules and regulations, stated in Rule 6 that the school head shall form an instructional leader and administrative manager. So school achievement greatly affects to the plans and actions undertaken by the school head. The school head has an authority, accountability, and responsibility to lead the national educational policies, plans, and standards. So since principal leads the school, he or she is empowered and has an authority to make decisions that would result in the achievement of instructional goals. It also means that he was going to be accountable for all the school level. So the role of school head is not an easy task. Therefore, the DepEd must schedule on the different leadership trainings to school heads to ensure that they will be fully functional to their duties and responsibilities to enhance their school instructional supervision and monitoring skills. The main function of a school is students' learning. So the school head must spend more time as an instructional leader. So as an instructional leader, he or she supervises instruction by observing teachers while they teach, conducting post-observation conferences with individual teachers, mentoring and coaching them, ensuring that teachers have the needed resources for teaching. While physical improvement and fund sourcing, the concerns of administrative leadership. So this will help improve the schools. The more important concern is improvement of instruction, as this has a direct bearing on learning. The competencies for school heads, the NCB SSH or the National Competencies-Based Standards for School Heads, issued in DepEd Order 32 Series of 2010 on April 16, 2010. Competencies. So when we say competencies, this refers to the skills or the kakayahan of a school head. According to DepEd Order number 32 Series of 2010, it defines as a list of competency standards which can be used as basis for the school heads, decision-making, actions, and performances of their functions. Competencies are classified into 7 domains for school leadership and management. The core principle of the school heads is that they are competent, committed, and accountable in providing access to quality and relevant education for all through transformational leadership and high degree of professionalism. The following are the domains or the competencies of a school heads. First is the school leadership. Second is the instructional leadership. Third is creating a student-centered learning climate. Fourth, HR management or the human resource management and professional development. Fifth is the parent involvement and community partnership. Sixth, school management and operation. 7, the last one is personal and professional attributes, and interpersonal effectiveness. In Domain 1, school leadership, the developing and communicating vision, mission, goals, and objectives, or the VMGO, database strategic planning, problem solving, building high performance teams, coordinating with others, leading and managing change. So this domain emphasizes that effective school leaders collaboratively create a vision and establish a climate for teachers, non-teaching personnel, and learners to reach their highest level of achievement. Domain 2, the instructional leadership, the assessment for learning, developing programs and or adapting existing programs, implementing programs for instructional improvement, and instructional supervision. These are all good for an instructional leadership, whether to know that the school heads take or delegate to others to promote good teaching and high-level learning among pupils or students. So that means a school head must supervise the teachers how they teach. Education reforms have created an urgent need for strong emphasis on the development of instructional leadership skills. So these domains cover those actions in instructional leadership. Domain 3, creating a student-centered learning climate. This domain is part of an instructional leadership, which it states there that setting high social and academic expectations, creating a school environment focused on the needs of the learners. Domain 3 requires that effective school leaders set high standards and create high expectations for learners, at the same time recognizing their achievements. The Domain 4, the HR management or the human resource management and professional development. So this domain is part of an administrative leadership, which it will be helpful in terms of improving the school. Thus, it said there that creating a professional learning community, recruitment and hiring, managing performance of teachers and staff. The effective school leaders develop the skills and talents of those around them. That means they will be able to develop as a teacher, they will be able to develop the skills and talents they have. So this domain includes the nurturing and supporting of learning community that recruits teachers based on the teacher standards, or this is what we call the national competency-based teacher standards, and promotes the continuous growth and development of personnel based on its individual plan for professional development, and also the school plan for professional development. This will help them to improve the specific school. Number 5, parent involvement and community partnership. This includes the parental involvement and also the external community partnership. And effective school heads engage in shared decision making with the community in achieving universal participation, completion, and functional literacy. That means this domain covers the parent and the other stakeholders, or the external or internal stakeholders involved in terms of decision making, so that they may able to raise learners' performance. Domain 6, the school management and operations. So this domain covers the critical role school heads play in managing the implementation and monitoring of their school's improvement plan for the annual implementation plan. So they are responsible for the generation, mobilization, and are accountable for the utilization of funds and other resources. So they are also use ICT in the management of their daily operations. So in managing school operations, so it manages the implementation, monitoring and review for the SIP or AIP and other action plans. So they are also establishes and maintains specific programs to meet needs of identified target groups. It takes the lead in the design of a school physical plan and facilities improvement plan in consultation with an experts. It also assigns or hires appropriate support personnel to manage school operations. In fiscal management, it prepares a financial management plan. It develops a school budget which is consistent with SIP or AIP. It also generates and mobilizes financial resources, manages school resources in accordance with DepEd policies in accounting and auditing rules and regulations and other pertinent guidelines. While in use of technology in the management of operation, it talks about the technologies. It uses IT to access teacher support materials, learning support materials, and assessment tools in accordance with the guidelines. It also shares with other school heads the school experience in the use of new technology. In Domain 7, personal and professional attributes and interpersonal effectiveness. It involves professionalism, communication, interpersonal sensitivity, fairness, honesty, and integrity. While in professionalism, it manifests genuine enthusiasm and pride in the nobility of the teaching profession. It maintains harmonious and pleasant personal official relationship with superiors, colleagues, subordinates, learners, parents, and other stakeholders. It recommends appointments, promotions, and transfer on the basis of merit and needs in the interest of the server. It also maintains good reputation with respect to financial matters such as the settlement of his or her debts, loans, and other financial affairs. It also develops programs and projects for continuing personal and professional development, including moral recovery and values formation among teaching and non-teaching personnel. While in communication, as we all know that communication is very useful to teachers and also the learners. Communicates effectively both in speaking and writing to staff and other stakeholders. Listen to stakeholders' needs and concerns and responds appropriately in consideration of the political, social, legal, and cultural contexts. While in interpersonal sensitivity, so you are going to interact appropriately with a variety of audiences. It also demonstrates ability to empathize with others. Fairness, honesty, and integrity. So you're going to observe a award system and a system of assistance for teachers, staff to sustain integrity, honesty, and fairness. It demonstrates integrity, honesty, and fairness in all his or her dealings and transactions. And it will also make individuals accountable for their actions. Domain 7. Personal and professional attributes and interpersonal effectiveness. Effective school leaders are models of professionalism and ethical and moral leadership. This domain includes the development of pride in the nobility of teaching profession. School leaders also project integrity by promoting and supporting an environment where teachers, non-teaching staff, and learners adhere to do what is right. They also express themselves clearly and possess effective writing and presentation skills. How does the administrative leader differ from an instructional leader? Principal who pride themselves as administrators usually are too preoccupied in dealing with managerial duties, while principal who are instructional leaders involve themselves in setting clear goals, allocating resources to instructions, managing the curriculum, monitoring lesson plans, and evaluating. As a member of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, let's also take a look at the competencies of school heads for Southeast Asia. Stakeholders engagement, or the SE. So first is promoting shared responsibility for school improvement. This talks about build trust and lead teams, communities for school improvement, empower the community to work for enhancement of school performance. Two is managing education alliances and networks. So it talks about communicate effectively with different stakeholders, facilitate school community partnerships and activities, promote consensus building and manage conflicts and practice negotiations and skills. Number 3, sustaining collaborative relationship with stakeholders. It supports community-based programs and projects, communicate school performance report to stakeholders. 4, managing school resources and system. It manage financial resources, manage learning environments, manage system and procedures. 5 is managing staff performance. It manages school personnel requirements, support professional development of staff, recognize staff performance. While in 6, managing sustainable school programs and projects. It demonstrates programs and project management skills, promotes school-based programs and projects that support sustainable development. In instructional leadership, or IL, so first is leading curriculum implementation and improvement. It manages curriculum implementation, promotes sensitivity of diversity and differentiated instruction. Creating a learner-centered environment. So it promotes learner-centered activities, promote a healthy, safe, and inclusive learning environment, and it promotes a culture of peace and respect for diversity. Third is supervising and evaluating teachers' performance. So it apply appropriate models of supervision and evaluation, nurture teachers' leaders. And fourth is delivering planned learning outcomes. So it promotes team-based approaches to instructional leadership.